One of the things we know today for sure is that heat contributes to lameness. Because one of the things is that in some cases when we're bringing large mobs of cows into the sheds and corral them in there for anywhere up to 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, because those animals are body to body, that heat can't escape anymore and they're heating up more and more. And what we've learned is that hot cows will not rest adequately afterwards until they until their body temperature cools down. So during the hard parts of the year, it's very essential that we think about cooling cows in the yards, and maybe even out as they come out of the yards, to make sure that when they go back to the paddock that they're cooled off, so they're either ready to lay down or also ready to go and eat some more and stay healthy. And what we're seeing today is on the large farms where cows spend extended periods of time in the sheds, lameness increases. And it all goes back to that standing time and the heat stress that occurs when they're standing in the yards. So one advice is sometimes, or a good way to go about it is sometimes in those hot times of the year, to try to cool cows with water, shade, give them shade when they're in the yard. Also to maybe split the mobs up so we don't bring in 200, 300, 400 cows at a time. We bring in 100 and 20 minutes later they're back out of the yard, out of the dairy where they're more spread out rather than packed into like a sandwich into a dairy yard where the heat just accelerates as they stand in, especially because it's in the middle of the afternoon when the sun is still quite strong. And one of the things we can do is we can check respiration rate. A cow that has 60 breaths per minute has a normal body temp. As soon as that respiration goes up, her body temp increases. And we see cows that have, when they get really hot, up to 75, 80 breaths per minute, and that usually concludes with about a 4 to 5 degree increase in body temp. And that increase in body temp can result in early embryonic death in cows, and it's also impossible to get cows pregnant if they're under heat stress. In general, cooling cows always has a payback in the hot time of the year. So here we have a group of cows that's in the shed waiting to be milked. And with the temperature today, we can see a cow right in front of us. Her respiration rate, she's panting, so she's hot. We can see there's in the background, or every once in a while, I see some water coming down. So in this particular place, we're actually trying to put some water on the cows to cool them down. So it's always crucially important that we give them plenty of room so that there's some air that can flow around them if there's any air movement. One of the other things in the yard is that every farmer knows and experiences, like this cow that's panting in front of us. She has an arched back. She's putting her feet further back. So she's trying to take the weight off the back part of her claws because there's some type of pain associated in her claws. That's why she's standing the way she's standing. Another thing happens is when cows like this are so stressed because they're standing in the yard, sometimes they're so exhausted after milking, and even before their sphincter muscles on the teats are completely closed, they lay down in a shaded area where it's smutty, or they lay down into the mud and they get mastitis. So the mastitis wasn't necessarily due to the environment. It's because she was completely exhausted and she just couldn't do it any longer. So again here, we'll see some cows are not as hot as others when we look at this group of cows, but they're all panting. And again, to stress is that cows are really hot, somewhere between 18 and 20 degrees Celsius. Well, for us, that's when it gets just right comfortable. So the more we do in this time of the day to make sure these cows are cooled off, the better they will perform for us afterwards. The cooler they walk out of the dairy, the more likely they're going to go out and eat and lay down and make more milk. What we know is that a hot cow will not go out of the dairy and eat and lay down. She's got to cool her body temperature off first before she actually feels like eating and before she feels like laying down, because if she would lay down right away, there would be no way that the heat could participate from her body. Look at the other cows. This cow has a completely flat back.
Yeah, she's quite relaxed even though she's younger.
She's relaxed even though she's panting. Where that other one, she's actually even harder because she has pain, you know?
Yeah, look at the arch on her back.
You know, the arch on her back.